chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me, and I know who I am. We are a chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me, for I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I'm working in power, I'm working miracles. I live a life of favor, for I know who I am. I'm working in power, I'm working miracles. I live a life of favor, for I know who I am.
Big. Asante. Asante sana. Welcome, Your Excellency, to address the nation.
Members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. We have a statement that we want to issue today following the general elections that were held in our country on the 9th of this month. Today, I want to address my fellow Kenyans and the international community about the 2022 Kenyan elections and the role of the Independent Election and Boundaries Commission, the IEBC, the body mandated by the Constitution and the law to conduct and manage elections. On August 9th, 2022, millions of Kenyans turned out in large numbers in an attempt to choose their leaders at the national, county, and local levels after long and generally peaceful campaigns. But yesterday, August 15th, our budding democracy suffered a major setback. As a result, Kenya faces a grave legal and political crisis as a result of the actions of Mr. Wafula Chebukati, the chairperson of the IEBC. The Constitution and our laws are clear about how the IEBC should conduct its business. There is no more important role for the IEBC than the conduct, transmission, and tallying of the presidential election. We are painfully aware of the past political biases by the IEBC that plunged this country into its darkest chapter. The terrible memories of the aftermath of the 2007 elections are still fresh in our minds. In 2017, the Supreme Court of Kenya nullified the presidential election again because of the misconduct of the IEBC. What we saw yesterday was a travesty and a blatant disregard of the Constitution and the laws of Kenya by Mr. Chebukati and a minority of IEBC commissioners. The law is clear on the role of the chairperson of the IEBC. The law does not vest in the chairperson the powers of a dictator to rule the IBC unilaterally. The IBC is structured as a democratic institution in which decisions must be taken either by consensus or by a vote of the majority. The chairperson and a tiny minority of commissioners have no legal authority to take weighty decisions and proclaim them as the rulings of the IBC. The law on the IBC provides that unless a unanimous decision is reached, a decision on any matter before the Commission shall be by a majority of the members present and voting. I want to repeat. Unless a unanimous decision is reached, a decision on any matter before the Commission shall be by a majority of the members present and voting. In addition, the Court of Appeal in the Maina Kiai case ruled, and I quote again, reiterate, as we conclude, that there is no doubt from the architecture of the laws we have considered that the people of Kenya did not intend to vest or concentrate such sweeping and boundless powers in one individual, that is the chairperson of the appellant. That is why I and Azimio La Umoja One Kenya and the nation at large were shocked yesterday to learn that Mr. Chebukati alone decided to pronounce himself on the supposed winner of the 2022 presidential elections. We understand that only Mr. Chebukati alone had access to the tally of the presidential vote. He denied all the commissioners access to that information until he suddenly appeared before the commissioners in the late afternoon to present them with a fait accompli. Barely 2 hours before his announcement, Mr. Chebukati called a meeting of the IEBC and revealed to them the different results he was going to announce. 4 of the 7 protested Mr. Chebukati's actions. But Mr. Chebukati, whose mind appeared made up, did not entertain any discussion of the results, precipitating a walkout by a majority of the commissioners, who promptly denounced the results at a press conference. We know what happened next. A majority of the commissioners walked out and held a press conference where they denounced the results. Our view in Azimio is clear. The figures announced by Mr. Chebukati are null and void. I repeat, the figures announced by Mr. Chebukati are null and void and must be quashed by a court of law. In our view, there is neither a legally and validly declared winner nor a president-elect. Mr. Chebukati's announcement purporting to announce a winner is a nullity. He acted with gross impunity and in total disregard of the Constitution and our laws. He could have plunged our country into chaos had our supporters not exercised great restraint. Such blatant acts of impunity can be a threat to the security of our country. It is not up to us to decide whether Mr. Chebukati has committed an offense. We leave that determination to the appropriate authorities. But for avoidance of doubt, I want to repeat that we totally and without reservations reject the presidential results announced yesterday by Mr. Chebukati. I want to commend our supporters for remaining calm and keeping the peace, and I urge them to continue to do so. Let no one take the law into their own hands. We are pursuing constitutional and lawful channels and processes to invalidate Mr. Chebukati's illegal and unconstitutional pronouncement. We are certain that justice will prevail. I want to further commend the heroism of the 4 commissioners, the majority of the IEBC, who stood up to the bullying and the illegal conduct of Mr. Chebukati. We are proud of them and ask them not to fear anything. Kenyans are with them. Today, I do not want to fully address our strategies going forward, but suffice it to note that we will be pursuing all constitutional and legal options available to us. We will do so because we regard the many flaws in the elections and the wrongs committed by the IEBC as fatal to the process and the outcome announced by Mr. Chebukati. We urge Kenyans and the friends and partners of Kenya abroad to stand tall and be counted as we seek to advance the ideals of democracy and an open society that we have always stood for. We will pursue justice for our supporters and for all Kenyans so that their choices are respected and honored. May God bless you and may God bless Kenya. Nataka kuchukua tena fursa hii kutoa shukrani kwa Kenya wenzangu ambayo wameshiriki katika uchaguzi ambayo imepita. Wameonyesha ujasiri, wameonyesha uzalendo na upendo kwa nchi yao. Wakenya kila mahali walijitokeza wakapiga kura kwa njia ya amani. Na sasa yale ambayo yalibaki ni tume ya uchaguzi kuhakikisha kwamba ile ndoto ya Wanakenya imeheshimiwa. Tumegundua hitilafu ambayo imefanyika katika IEBC ambayo imejaribu kutaka kukiuka yale ambayo Wakenya wenyewe walikuwa wamefanya. Tumeona yale ambayo imefanywa na yule mwenyekiti wa tume ya uchaguzi Bwana Wafula Chebukati kwa kujaribu kupindua ili uamuzi ya Wakenya. Anafanya hivyo bila kushauriana na wale wenzake ambaye wako pale pamoja naye katika tume ya uchaguzi. Sisi wana Kenya na wana Azimio tunapenda amani. Tunapenda umoja wa Kenya. Tunataka kuona kama Wakenya wameungana kama kitu kimoja. Ndio tunaongea juu ya Azimio la umoja. Tuko na nia ya kuona kwamba Kenya imetoka katika janga la ufukara, janga ya kutokuwa na amani, na janga ya ubaguzi ya kikabila, ili Wakenya waungane kama watu moja, waweze kutekeleza wajibu yao kulingana na ndoto ya uanzilishi wa taifa letu. Hatutakubali, nataka kurudia hai, hatutakubali mtu mmoja ajaribu kuleta vurugu katika taifa letu, kujaribu vile vile kubadilisha yale ambayo Wakenya wameamua kama watu moja. Wakenya hawatakubali, hatutakubali. Tutazidi kutetea nchi yetu na katiba letu kama Wakenya ili Kenya iweze kuendelea mbele. Asanteni sana. Mungu ibariki Kenya, nchi yetu.
Niombe sote tusalie tumeketi tunapomruhusu Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga, mgombea mwenza, Martha Wangare Karua na wengine kuondoka.
Let's get together and feel alright. Hear the children.
Thank you, DJ. Thank you, DJ. I am ably guided by Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka to announce that all elected members in the National Assembly, in the Senate, governors, kindly, you have a meeting here at 11 a.m. tomorrow promptly. Thank you. Thank you, DJ. May I all request all of us now to give space to His Excellency to take leave. And may we cooperate with the security officers here. Thank you, members of the Fourth Estate. I now humbly request that we give space to His Excellency to take leave. Kindly, security and protocol officers, guide appropriately. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. May I just repeat this announcement as guided by Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, that tomorrow at 11 a.m., all elected members of parliament, senators, governors, kindly convene here at 11 a.m. promptly. Thank you.
Baba, Baba, Jeshia Baba, Baba, Siniwa Baba, Baba.
The total number of registered voters, the total number of votes cast, or the number of rejected votes, if any. In this regard, the results announced by Mr. Chebukati lacked a critical ingredient, namely the total number of valid votes cast to support the percentages scored by the four candidates. Unless demonstrated otherwise, we all know that the percentage is essentially a fraction of a whole number. Hence, if, for example, the 7.17 million valid votes cast in favor of the winning candidate, as declared and announced by Mr. Chebukati, translates to 50.49%, then it was 50.49 of what? Further, take notice that Mr. Chebukati claimed that Raila Odinga attained 25% of votes in 34 counties, while William Ruto attained 25% in 39 counties. The question is, which figures in the 34 and 39 counties respectively constituted the independent variable to warrant the conclusion of 25% in 34 counties and 25% in the 39 counties for Raila and Ruto respectively? In the absence of a credible and verifiable explanation, we concluded that the process that went into generation of Form 34C, which he used to declare results of the presidential election, was opaque and incapable of earning our ownership and confidence. Number 3, guided by the authority of Maina Kiai case, petition number 106 of 2016, as upheld by the Court of Appeal in Civil Appeal number 105 of 2017, and affirmed by the Supreme Court of Kenya, We state categorically that the results of the presidential election held in August 9, 2022, declared and announced by Mr. Wafula Chebukati on August 15, 2022, belonged to himself and do not represent the declaration and announcement by Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. The Commission has to process the results before they are declared and announced by the chairperson. For the avoidance of doubt, let me quote the Maina Kiai case. It says, "We reiterate as we conclude that there is no doubt from the acuity of the law, we have considered that the people of Kenya did not intend to vest or concentrate such sweeping and boundless powers in one individual, the chairperson of the appellant. The emphasis is that the Commission's chairperson has conducted the election as though he is the National Returning Officer, a non-existent role, and his role in declaring results that were not approved by plenary by all 7 commissioners renders the results unconstitutional to the extent that this is his own results as opposed to those of IEBC. In keeping to Article 138(2) of the Constitution, there is no national presidential election in Kenya, but rather the presidential election is held in each constituency. Point number 4, that in contrary to the Constitution and legislation, by the time the chairman declared and announced the final results from certain constituencies had not been announced. This is our statement. We promised you a comprehensive statement, so here we are, and we are going to give it out to the media. Thank you.
At what point did you realize that there was a fake? And do you have the figures that are contrary to the ones that were issued by the chairman?
Also, why did you raise it?
Can we take one by one so that...
So can we deal with just 2 questions for the moment, please?
Mokalo e chenro mar nyako chia.
Kuke makori chalo mana ke.
Aneno kirwaka gi hotpot.
Matok mari.
No idling round.
Na ngembe te ni nyaka yubu tudi ka.
Kiki nyisa ni sechonyori gi mama ukendi chaki tingori duogo odaka.
Table ne ga nango na robi.
Abi kubebe.
Table.
E piny ni kaka irwakori e kaka jikawi.
Nyako chia. Tich ang'wen gi tich abich saa 1:45 mar otieno mana e Ramogi TV.
Nyako chia.
George Aoko kani Mombasa, Toma Ramogi TV.
Citizen Digital is proud to have emerged top and been selected for the 2022 Google GNI Middle East, Turkey and Africa Innovation Challenge. With Google's support, Citizen Digital will increase its capacity in news gathering for our viewers and listeners under the Wananchi reporting platform. Download Kenya's #1 app, the Citizen Digital app today, and get the news as soon as it happens.
Kenya's #1 app, Citizen Digital.
We didn't know that Eva was admiring him secretly.
Sometimes I tend to believe that my love is itosha msichana moja. And naturally I was born a polygamous person.
3 of us, we are enough for him. We are not going to allow him to bring another one.
To watch this story and more, download the Citizen Digital app today.
Kenya's #1 app, Citizen Digital.